Over the years, I have made many recommendations to Cricket West Indies. In 2022, October, November, thereabout, I made a set of recommendations then that Cricket West Indies needed to look into for the team to perform well at the 2023 ODI World Cup. Little did I know then that we would not have passed the qualifier stage. Up to this year, I have made over 10 recommendations to Cricket West Indies on how to grow the talent pool. I have never yet looked at what needed to happen here and now. I mostly concentrate on the development stage to widen that cricketing pool and to keep our talents. This morning, I'm going to try and second guess what the CSOC meeting emerged. Well, it is no longer an emergency meeting. It's going to be a meeting. Probably the players, and when I say the players, I mean the 6 committee members, are probably negotiating their contract fee before they commence the meeting. But I am going to do this for Cricket West Indies free of cost. I am not here to do any complicated things because I know that greatness is achieved by doing the simple things well. Hello everyone and welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I thank you for being here and I appreciate your company. Before I come to the cricket though, I must say this. I'm a very, very happy man at this moment. And I know a lot of Jamaicans, probably the entire Jamaican community are happy because Oblique Civil have just destroyed the 100-meter field in the London Grand Prix. Included in that is no other than Noel Lyons. I have recognized that when I do these shows over the years, they usually don't get a lot of viewership. The shows that get most viewerships are when you criticize West Indies, criticize the players. Those are the shows that get the most viewerships, when you go in hard on players. When you raise the bar in what is my view, raising the bar from not only criticizing, but putting forward ideas, because intellects will tell you that putting forward ideas is a next level than just simple identifying the problem. As I said, my response are very simple. The first thing I want to look at is Cricket West Indies' present way of identifying talent to become part of the West Indies cricket team. I don't know if you understand it, but this is a diagram, the exact diagram that has been released by the Director of Cricket of how the team for the West, how the players are selected for the West Indies cricket team. At the head there, you see head coach, one man. Below him, senior talent manager. I really don't know the job description of any of these. But what is important for this discussion is that at the head is the head coach. He has the final say. And so that is the present model. That is the present way that Cricket West Indies select their team, with the head coach having the final say. So that is what is there. However, these are my 5 recommendations. As usually, I do not go more than 5 because I think that going more than 5, you will really be duplicating some of those things. And I'm here now trying to second guess that committee on what they should deliver. I know they are getting paid, but I'm doing this free of cost. The first thing that I think they need to do is to reinstate the selection committee. This modus operandi of one man having the final say on selection has failed. As I mentioned yesterday, Ray Illingworth in the 90s and Chris Silverwood in recent times, as recently as 2021, England have tried it where they put one person in charge of everything, and on both occasions it failed and failed miserably. As things stands now, with Darren Sammy being the head coach and head selector, and I want to move out the name Darren Sammy because Darren Sammy is not the policy. Darren Sammy is just the person there at the moment implementing the policy. And it's not the person that needs to be changed, it's the policy that needs to be changed. So I do not think that the head coach should be the chief selector. Therefore, the first thing, very first thing that must happen is that the reinstitution of a selection committee. The second recommendation that I am making is that I strongly believe in separation of duties. I think that when one person has too much to do, it doesn't lend itself to the best outcome. We saw where the West Indies head coach was in the UK with the white ball team, while the test team was less than a month away for a test series. Ideally, I would like to have a head coach for the test team, the red ball team, and a head coach for the white ball team. For me, I believe in going with best in class. I believe in going not only with a coach, but I believe in going with what I considered to be the best in class. And at this moment, the two persons that I considered to be the best in class to take over the role of West Indies test coach are Justin Langer and Chandrakant Pandit. Now, it will be interesting to see if these guys wanted a job. You will recall that in 2022, after Phil Simmons resigned from the coaching job, and Craig Brathwaite made the outburst that any coach that is coming into the West Indies team, they have to understand the West Indies culture. And according to Shimron Hetmeyer, that culture is laid back. And although coaches in the past trying to get us to increase that intensity, we remained laid back because that's just how we are. That's what Hetmeyer said in an interview. And Craig Brathwaite said in an interview that any coach that we are getting will need to understand the West Indies culture. I don't know if this was the result why there were very few international coaches that applied for the West Indies coaching job after Simmons retired. There were very few that applied for the coaching job. And I don't know if those comments were the ones that caused it. The few that applied then were not best in class. I will go with one of these two if they are willing to take up the job. The next thing that I am recommending that Cricket West Indies do is to meet with all the players, including the fringe players. So I believe that this meeting, this committee should recommend 25 players, a group of 25 players to meet with the West Indies Cricket Board. The West Indies Cricket Board should meet with these players, including the fringe players. Now, at that meeting, one of the first things, or probably the first things after the courtesies are extended, the first thing that I think need to be done, and so you invite them all to whether Antigua or headquarters of Cricket West Indies. Invite them all, 25 of them. And I think the first thing that need to be done is to look them in the eye in that room and ask them, are you interested in playing Test cricket for the West Indies? That's the first question you need to ask them. Anyone who said no, you would have already arranged with the relevant person to book their ticket. So you'll ask them to leave the room and they will be sent home on the next flight out of Antigua. Marcus, some arrangement would have been pre-made, so it would not have been all that difficult. It would have just been a matter to carry out the logistics. So the first question, are you interested in playing cricket for the West Indies? If they said no, whoever said no, they have to leave the room immediately, and the actions, the follow-up actions would have taken place. They will be on the next flight out of Antigua to their homeland. That's it. And also following up after they said no, their regional boards would have informed that come October, their retainer contract should not be renewed. Those who decided that they are interested in playing Test cricket should write you an essay detailing why they are interested in playing Test cricket and what do they plan to do to make their game better. The thing is, far gone are the days when we should be begging players to play for us. And if they are not committed, we should not have them playing. So they must put it in writing why they are interested to play for the West Indies. And let me have it within 24 hours. Now, I will also lay down some rules. Definitely, I will lay down some rules going forward, what I expect from those who are interested. So probably of those who remained and saying, yes, they are interested in playing cricket for the West Indies, by the time I lay down the rules, and when they start writing their essay, they may decide that they are no longer interested in playing for the West Indies. West Indies brand have suffered some damages in recent times. But there will be always people who want to play for us. And I've always said it. Hard work beats talents every day if the talent doesn't work hard, if the talent doesn't show commitment. And what I want more than talent for the West Indies team is commitment, because that commitment will allow them to work hard, and that work hard is going to pay off more than the talent that doesn't want to work hard. The fourth thing that I am saying to the players, they must improve the core challenges. I have identified 3 challenges over the past year and a half that is affecting West Indies batsmen in particularly. And we must improve those core challenges. We must set about ways in which to improve those core challenges. You might all have known that one of those 4 challenges is mastery of the basic. That came about so vividly 2 weeks ago, or a week or so ago, At the time, I never had the specific statistics on it. But as if somebody heard my continued lament that the West Indies batsmen cannot play deliveries that pitch in a good era, they showed the statistics. And West Indies batsmen are averaging 10 runs to balls that pitch in a good era. Now, how do I go about improving the mastery? I have my own ideas how we can go about that, but then the head coach will be responsible. He and his coaching staff will be responsible for implementing drills and giving these players work schedule so that they will improve the basic. And so that's number A. B, a fitness level. The fitness level need to be improved to that of an elite cricketing team, an elite international sport team. The whole intensity and attitude towards the game must change. And it comes with fitness, because a lack of fitness means that you will not concentrate as long as you want to and as long as you should, and maintain the intensity. Especially in the first two test matches, you saw where we competed with Australia up to a point. And after a point, that intensity went out the window. It never just came about like that. It was a lack of fitness. We have all heard that a fit body is a fit mind. One thing that happened over the weekend in this match, which I'm very disappointed with myself for not filming it. I curse myself time and time again. When Australia was bowled out Saturday night, within a minute of the final wicket, the Australian fielders were out on the field catching, doing some catching practice, slip catching. Khawaja, I think, was by himself, taking some catches by himself from another coach, and there were 3 or 4 fielders, Green among them, in the slip, practicing slip catching, and the bowlers were warming up on the side pitch with great intensity. In fact, the Australian last pair at the crease leave the field before the West Indies opening batsmen. Right? And I'm just cursing myself that I never filmed it, because the images would be here for you to see. Contrast that with when West Indies were to bowl after they were bowled out on Sunday afternoons going into evening. You know who I saw out on the field doing catching practice? The assistant coach responsible for fielding and the head coach batting balls to him. And on the warm-up strip beside the pitch where the match is playing on, an Australian fast bowler is probably here for the T20, was bowling full tilt. Shamar Joseph, I think, was knocking down a ball like that. And I think Alzari Joseph was bowling off 2 or 3 steps. That was West Indies warm-up. After a while, I think one fielder, Kevlin Anderson, came out and was doing some slip catching. But that was the extent of the West Indies warm-up. And I keep on cursing myself why I didn't film it. And anyone who was at Sabina Park those 2 days listening to me can remember exactly what happened. So we must improve the fitness level and the intensity to become an elite international team. The third thing, as I've always said, is build resilience, build mental resilience. So all these 3 is a part of number 4. And again, we need expert here to do these things because we must learn to cope with distractions. Have to learn to cope with distractions. And I am not an expert in this area, and it is in leadership, is not how much you can really do, but is the ability to find the skill set, the persons with the skill set to do what is done. So leadership, one of the responsibilities of leadership is to find individuals with the skill sets to carry out the tasks that you so require. So players must learn to cope with with distractions, and this is how you build mental resilience. You must do mental conditioning. You must talk to yourself. You must visualize. You must learn to breathe, breathe under pressure and so on. So you must do visualization. That's mental conditioning. You're mentally conditioned. Self-belief. You must have self-belief, and as I said, I am not an expert in this area. I will get persons to do these things. So building mental resilience. 1, coping with distractions. 2, mental conditioning. 3, self-belief. 4, emotional control, which is so pivotal. And 5, you must be comfortable in pressure situation. And so, as I said, I would get expert to those things. So the 5th and final thing that I will do, mark you, before I go to number 5, as I said earlier, for those who are just joining, I have a whole list of recommendations on the home page we have made about the development of cricket from the basic school level right up to the top. This is probably, apart from that video that I did in 2022 recommending the steps that Cricket West Indies should make if we want to be successful at the 2023 ODI World Cup, which they did not follow, and as a result, we did not even qualify. But these are some emergency steps that need to be put in place for right now. So I know persons will be coming and talking about development and so on. I have a lot of, look on the home page and you will see those recommendations. So the 5th thing that I want to do, I will implement, is the adjustment of the retainer contract as of October 1, 2026. Now persons will say, what about 2025? Because October 1, 2025 don't come in. As a good leader, and in such a situation, you want to make everyone aware of the policy before you implement it. So the status quo, more or less, will be implemented in 2025. October 1st each year is when Cricket West Indies financial year starts. And that is why I choose October 1st, because that's when the contracts comes out. So the status quo would more or less remain for 2025. But the players will be well made aware that come 2026, no one is guaranteed a retainer contract unless they meet certain specified threshold that will be worked out. For example, one very easy one. For you to get a C-level retainer contract, you have to average 40 in the upcoming regional 4-day tournament next year. So if you want to retain a contract in October 2026, The upcoming regional tournament next year, you have to average 40. That's a C level. Now, currently, West Indies offer a set number of contracts each year, whether it's 15 or 18, and the regional boards offer another 15. That will be done away with. If there is 1,000 persons in the that's exaggeration. It's not going to happen. Realistically, if 30 persons in the regional 4-day tournament average above 40, all of them get a retainer contract. If none average above 40, none get a retainer contract. I will pay you when you play. You will have to meet certain standards to get a retainer contract. And so I will not limit the retainer contract to 15 or 18 persons. Everyone that meets the standard will get a retainer contract. So for example, if you average 40, you might have a C contract. If you average 45, you might have a B contract. And if you average above 50, you might have an A contract. So if 15 persons average above 8, they get an A contract. So I will not limit the number of contracts. I will say to people, perform and you are rewarded with a contract. And you need to maintain that to get back the contract next year. So this is all up for discussion because it's one person view. So, but then we have to adjust the retainer contract. So quickly, the 5 recommendations that I'm making to Cricket West Indies is 1, reinstate the selection committee. 2, there should be a division of labor when it comes to white ball coach and red ball coach. 3, have a meeting with players and get a commitment from those who are interested in playing Test cricket. 4, improve the core challenges that are facing West Indies cricketers, which is 1, mastering the basic, improve fitness and intensity, and 3, build mental resilience. And 5, so let's go over that again. Let's start again. 1, reinstate the selection committee. 2, new coach, separation of duty, new test coach. So I'll go again, sorry. 1, reinstate the selection committee. 2, separate the white ball coach from the red ball coach. 3, meet with players to get a commitment from those who are really interested in playing Test cricket. 4, improve the core challenges that we are facing. And for 4, there are 3 part. A, which is mastery of the basic. B, improve the fitness and intensity level to elite standard. And C, build mental resilience. And the 5th and final recommendation is the retainer must be adjusted starting October 1, 2025. So those are my recommendations. Thank you for tuning in. As I now come to your live chat, but as you know, before I come to the live chat, I need to check and see on the number of persons who have liked the video. And with 187 watching, there's only 20 likes. And I always say, show some appreciation. I really appreciate you being here. I thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Bye for now.